Hey everyone! Today we are going to be hopping straight into some bizarre news stories that we found online, and believe it or not, they all have a common theme. Let's see if you can guess it by the end of this video. I can go ahead and start off with mine. So let me get the screen share going here.
Screen share.
Oh yeah. We got a nice little radioactive
I heard about this.
wasp nest
Yeah.
that was found where we were once making nukes. Apparently, this was in South Carolina, and apparently employees were like going through and checking radiation levels, and they found a wasp nest, which was it. So this is the part where it really gets interesting. Apparently, it was at a radiation level 10 times what's allowed by the federal regulation, which means that there's a number allocated to how much radiation can be inside of a wasp nest in the first place.
I would assume there is. I think it's one of those things where like everything has an inherent amount of radiation to it, and there's like thresholds.
Right. So whatever the going threshold was here, this nest was 10 times the level of that. Where it really starts to get spooky is they sprayed it down, they get rid of it, they dispose of it. However, no wasps were found.
What?
That could be a good thing.
It could be.
Or there could be radioactive wasps out in the world,
Wait a minute.
giving people wasp powers.
Yeah. Hold on a minute.
So there was a quote I saw in here. It's not that I'm as mad as a hornet. That was a good one.
Do you not have ad
but-
block?
No.
You're on a news website. Adblock doesn't exist.
I mean, it works for me.
So, yeah, they said the wasps generally. So this is supposed to be our first level of alleviation here. Wasps generally only fly a few hundred yards from their nests. You know,
Yeah.
typical wasps.
Yeah.
The ones that aren't inflamed with radiation and malice from their dastardly upbringing. As well, it was assured that the radiation of the individual wasps would be significantly less than the radiation in the nest. So each individual wasp is not as radiated as the nest. That's also supposed to make everyone feel better about all of this.
I feel better.
I mean, I would assume that would have to be the case because if they're too radioactive, they just die, right?
Right. They have to be
No.
just radioactive enough that they can live and find you.
No. You're not understanding. Each one of these wasps individually is like a mini Hulk.
What?
Kind
And
of.
when they get mad, you don't want to see them when they're mad.
I mean,
Right.
I don't want to see a regular wasp when it's mad. A regular wasp when it's mad it's just an insect from hell because it can just
Yeah.
keep stabbing you. It's not like a bee where it's just doing it because it feels like it has no other option because it knows it's going to die afterward. No, a wasp will just stab you and stab you and stab you as much as it
And
wants
bite
to.
you.
And bite you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
reminds me
When did this happen?
of a hiking trip I was on recently. The route itself was not run by actual wildlife preserve or, you know, any government agency. It was a volunteer maintained trail, which I've since learned was a terrible idea for hiking on because me and my little family were walking on this trail and we actually got like super assailed by wasps, and we never found the nest or anything, and they just like were all over us, and I got stung like 9 times within like 15 minutes or less. It was hard, and they chased us for like over half a mile. It was
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah, when they're angry, they'll do whatever. When did you say this happened? This wasp nest.
That article was from this week.
Okay.
So
Well, I mean, the good news is wasps like generally start dying like mid to late August into all the way through to October. The only reason I know this is back at my old job, we had a wasp issue. They kept building nests around the building, and there was a hole in the like on the outside of our wall, and so they were living in our drop ceiling. And one day we came in, not only were there like tons of wasps on the like just around the sales floor, but also there were like probably thousands of dead wasps all over the floor as well, like right around the windows and the vestibule. And so I brought my vacuum in, and I vacuumed up the wasps. And what I learned is it doesn't matter what kind of dead body it is, it will always smell. And so my wife hates me now.
The smell of death is pretty universal. Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of Protestant bodies.
Yeah, it took like we had to call the exterminator probably 3 or 4 times because there were like individually 3 or 4 wasp nests both in and outside of the building.
Really?
Yeah, it was real bad.
I wonder what like why are they like this?
Okay, pause for a sec. Wait a second. What do you mean by a Protestant body?
I'm sorry.
You said it sounds like a lot of Protestant bodies. What did you mean by that?
Wasps.
I don't understand. Are
White
you
Anglo-Saxon Protestant?
I see.
Boom, boom. Editor, put a meme on that's from this week.
Huh? What does that mean?
Wow,
One that
okay.
just was birthed. A freshly birthed meme.
What?
Wasps.
Aren't I the editor? I don't like this. I don't know what I'm looking for.
We're all the
You're
editor.
getting what you get. You are getting
I want
whatever
a
I
hot,
find.
relevant meme.
I will find something relevant, I suppose. It's probably not going to be what you're thinking it is.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry I derailed things. I just was like, what do you mean Protestant bodies? I'm like, what? Why are we persecuting a specific sect of Christians? I'm like, what is happening? Okay. Sorry.
It's a very normal thing.
Yes, it's a very normal thing.
We should start prosecuting. Never mind.
Moving on. Do you
I
want
was
to
going
do?
to say something racist.
Yeah, I know you were. Do you want to do yours next or mine next?
Hold on. Let me switch over from Bob the Builder here. Let
So
me share this.
you want to go next?
Atlanta.
Okay.
Rest in peace. All right. So, as you can see here, my article's about a jellyfish swarm and how they managed to shut down a nuclear power plant. This was in France, and I guess the summary is they've got like this intake or something, like this cooling intake, and somehow, some way, jellyfish got all clogged up in their intake, and so it kept
not
the
funny.
flow of seawater that was used to cool the reactors from actually cooling the reactors. So luckily, the nuclear power plant automatically shut down.
Power pants.
Because
Sorry.
power pants, yeah, dude, the nuclear power plant, it just shut down automatically. Luckily, because I imagine if a power plant that is nuclear overheats, it's probably not good.
Generally speaking,
Probably.
yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
Depends what kind of fission they do.
probably nuclear.
All
Probably do nuclear fission.
All fission is nuclear.
Yeah, they probably do nuclear if I had to guess.
It's true. You're probably right about that.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it was more of a headache than a radiation hazard, which is kind of sad. So,
Why was that sad? That's a good thing.
dude, I'm just
That's a
thinking
quote
about
from
how.
the article.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the world we're in now. This is a Weather Channel article, and it says, and a
It's
literal
on the Weather
line
Channel, yeah.
that got past editing was, it was probably more of a headache than a radiation hazard.
Kind of sad.
This
to
is
be real.
this is the slop that's being sloshed onto our news articles now. I mean, this isn't just any source. This is the Weather Channel.
Why is it sad? Why
Well, if you think about it, we could have had Chernobyl Part 2, but in France.
would you want that though?
It's France.
They probably would have built another fake France to get around that.
They would have built the Maginot Line for jellyfish.
This does speak to another general issue that's happening right now due to the ecological shift in the world's oceans. Jellyfish are becoming much more populous to the point where they're starting to choke out other species and stuff and do things like this.
Well, you know what? That's probably good if you think about it. All right.
It's not.
So, no. Hear me out. So, like, you know how, like, pollution is a problem?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, one of the big things people quote all the time is, like, a plastic bag in the ocean looks like a jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, if there are more jellyfish than plastic bags, it's more likely that the turtles will find the jellyfish and not the plastic bags. So less
Mhm.
turtles are going to choke now.
Okay.
This is how we fix pollution.
Your logic is very similar to somebody going, how can there be global warming when it snowed last week?
No, it's not the same at all. What I'm saying is we can fix pollution by overpopulating the waters with jellyfish.
But that doesn't...
You ever been outside in February?
Just...
Doesn't feel very warm. to
Actually,
me.
we're in a cooling period right now, so
We can't put up windmills everywhere because we'll run out of wind.
it's killing the birds, dude. Killing the birds. And they just look ugly, man. They just look ugly.
Well, that is actually
So
a
ugly.
concern about the birds thing. But if you
Stop it.
it is a slight concern. But if you let scientists do their gosh darn jobs, they can track migrational flight patterns so that most birds won't get hit by windmills.
You know what my
Yeah,
counterpoint to that is? You know what a bigger risk to birds than windmills is?
Climate
Arby
change?
Sweeney.
No. Skyscrapers and windows.
Not necessarily.
Oh, they are. I've seen too many birds just fly into windows and die, bro.
Well, those are the ones that didn't roll well in the Darwinian table.
So every bird. There's a reason they say bird brain, and that's an insult, dude.
Well, you
Unless
know
you're
what?
Little
Birds
Wayne.
have senses
Unless you're
that
Birdman.
people don't have, so there's that. Or at least they have
Yeah.
them much more powerfully than people have. So
What do they have?
they have a like a pseudo organelle that lets them sense magnetic waves, like the poles of the Earth, and it helps them figure out where they need to migrate, even if they've never been there before.
That makes sense. I always wondered how the birds knew where north was.
Built into their robotic frequencies.
But yeah,
I have
because
a-
they're
I have a
cameras,
friend
right? From the
who
government.
legitimately believes that birds are frequencies created by the government.
Yeah. There's no way they actually think.
You'd be surprised what people
They are
actually
very
think.
convincing.
That's
They're
like
very
people who
convincing.
believe in flat Earth, or that global warming doesn't exist.
It's
That's
all,
like the
you know,
same level.
It's all the things that you think to yourself as a mildly educated person or higher goes, those types of people can't really exist. They're just doing it and saying that because there's some sort of political, ideological, whatever thing backing it up. But no, there are people in this world that legitimately believe these things, and it is astonishing.
Nah, they don't exist. And to prove it, viewers, comment on this video or episode on Spotify or wherever you're watching this. Tell us if you believe in any of these wild theories that are clearly not real.
Yeah.
You do
While
it.
Give
you're
us
at
your
it-
best argument.
While you're at it, also, you could leave another comment and make it your favorite retro store that doesn't exist anymore.
Hold on, I gotta bring that up real quick. Actually, now that you mention it, listen, where it is.
All right, well,
Where it is.
I'm going to
All
talk
right,
about mine.
Yeah. Let's talk about Soundscapes. Let's talk about Soundscapes real quick. Yo, tell us in the comments below if you've ever been to Soundscapes or Pixel Paradise or Kitty Corner or Cyber Connect or Videodrome. Videodrome. Yo, where my Videodromers at?
We're gonna move on. Things got a little zany brainy there.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, well, here's
Yeah,
what
that's
I
'cause
have
It's for the
for
90s.
for this time around. It's this.
Yo, far out.
Yeah,
That is
really
definitely
far
AI
out.
generated.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But no, my story is about the fact that multiple countries are wanting to put a nuclear reactor on the moon.
Where does the pipe go?
Okay, all right.
It's not important.
I have a question immediately.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the plan here?
What do
You
you
ever
mean?
seen Despicable Me
So
1?
okay,
Putting
so
a
we're
nuclear power
generating
plant on the
we're
moon.
generating okay, yes, we're generating power.
Yeah.
What are we doing with that power on the moon?
So you know
We're gonna
how
nuke Saturn.
that's not what nuclear power plants are for. Okay. So you know
Dude,
how
what kind of fission are they doing? Is it nuclear?
It's the first impression the aliens will get.
We didn't
We
smog
gotta
up.
lay it
Oh,
all
actually,
out there.
Actually, I was about to say we didn't smog up our own planet enough, and nuclear power plants are actually rather clean
they
if
are.
you ignore the nuclear waste.
And the
Things-
hornet nest.
I have so many things to talk about with that specific thing, but that is going to require like a controversy corner because that's a controversial issue when it comes to nuclear power in general and like the misinformation that goes along with that. But in any case, that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is talking about a nuclear power plant on the moon. So, you know how in the 60s there was a whole space race and people were trying to be the first ones to get to the moon and plant their flag
No.
and yada, yada, yada.
I do
Okay.
know
Can you
that.
tell me
Cool.
about that?
Yeah, in the 60s, we went to the moon, we put a flag up, and we did it. Hooray. We did a bunch of experiments. It was great.
Does that
So,
have to do with JFK?
Some people don't think we did that.
yeah,
Specifically, flat earthers.
Also, people who don't believe that we've ever left the planet.
Also, flat earthers.
Please continue.
Dude, the moon doesn't exist.
So much editing this episode.
Anyway, as of this recording, it was a recent announcement from the US and China as well that they are going to be attempting to put a nuclear power plant on the moon as soon as 2035. So the idea behind this is it's kind of like it's like an infrastructure space race. I don't understand particularly why this is happening, but it's for real. Thanks. Essentially, the idea behind this is to do a very similar thing, what happened in the 60s, except for it to be a permanent installation. There are particular places, apparently, on the moon that are like good places that you're going to want to be if you were going to establish some sort of moon base. So the idea is to get to one of those places and establish a nuclear power plant to kind of institute a keep out zone for other countries trying to build on the moon. You might ask yourself, well, what's the deal with that? Isn't there like an outer space treaty where like nobody technically owns anything outside of the Earth? If you know about such a thing, you're correct. There are treaties that were signed by the UN, I believe, decades ago that essentially said that anything outside of the terrestrial Earth is not able to be owned by any particular country. So, technically speaking, you can go build your nuclear reactor and then like the US or China can build one right next to you. There's nothing saying that they can't do that, but because of how geopolitics work, that wouldn't happen. So yeah, this is a thing that they're trying to do. Both the US and China. It's one of those kinds of things where it's like, oh, well, let's see who can get to X thing first, because if this country can get to X thing first, then they have a huge advantage in whatever part of society that we're trying to influence. My biggest question here is, we're trying to put a nuclear power plant on the moon. Why aren't we trying to solve terrestrial problems? Like, why aren't we trying to make sure that there's consistent, clean power for the continental USA before we try to go to the moon and build a nuclear power plant? That's just what's getting me. This is the part. This is really why I wanted to bring this up, because it's so out in left field. Like, it's a cool idea, but it's so far removed, both figuratively and literally, from like real problems for real people that I just don't understand why this is even a thing that's being brought up.
Well,
What are the logistics of this?
That's what.
be done by tomorrow.
How are we getting the materials?
Well, I would assume the nuclear materials would be brought from the Earth to the moon. The construction materials themselves, I would imagine, would have to be mined and what's the word I'm looking for? Not synthesized, but essentially manufactured. There we go, manufactured on the moon, because the current price per kilogram of mass that you need to put into out of Earth's orbit, or excuse me, out of Earth's gravitational pull, is like $10,000 a kilogram. So
No problem.
anyway,
You got that right.
no,
No.
but anyway, yeah. So this is my story. To try to keep it on theme. If you guys out there listening can guess what the theme is yet, comment below if you figured it out and let us know what you think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be hard. You know, I don't know if everyone's gonna understand what happened, what the theme of the articles was. I really did like that point you brought up about us being focused on these nuclear reactors and these like beyond extraneous projects that aren't super relevant, and how we should be more focused on the issues, you know, on our soil, because there was some work being done recently, as of this week, focusing on one of the major problems in one of our capitals, actually our capital city. There's a huge cleanup effort that's being orchestrated right now.
That is not relevant to what we're doing.
It's going to make the capital beautiful again. So it's going to really solve a lot of the problems here on the home soil.
Make the capital
beautiful again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all the time that we have for our actual content and whatever that was.
And don't forget, if you're homeless, they'll give you a home, just not anywhere nearby.
Okay, bye.